Hi, everybody, and welcome to this amazing session we're going to have with Jack and I today, talking about, ready, steady, grow. Your 2026 launch plan starts right here. It's happening
Right
today,
here.
people. Exactly. That's it, Jack. Right here. It's happening.
Right here.
So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Holly Langley, and I work with customers specifically who are on Bullhorn to help them maximize that area of their ATS through automation, analytics, and data and training. We're based out of the UK, but as you are probably wondering, this is not the UK. Currently, I am over in Virginia, just down the road from Jack, who is in Boston, actually. And I'm having a bit of R&R, staying with one of my best friends who lives over here. And I'm cracking on with this webinar, and then I'm going to have a lovely few days off. So I'm in an excellent mood today, and I'm ready to talk about all things 2026. So, Jack, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for having me, Holly, and pumped that you're in the States. And it looks like it's going to be a rip roaring couple of days. My name is Jack Barnes. I'm an account executive over here at SourceWhale, and I'm really stoked to jump into it today. I think, a lot of firms are focused on closing out their 2025 strong, but, the really, really good ones are already talking about planning for 2026. So excited to jump in and talk about all that today.
It's really interesting, I think, like what you've just said, how people are stoked to kind of end the year and go into next year. Now, I, as a business owner, I'd kind of projected that November and December were going to go like that, and that we weren't going to have a great end to the year because people would just be saying January. Anyway, we've just had our biggest month to date, and we're not even like, we're just over halfway through, because you're right, people are ready and they want to finish this year on a high, because they know
100%.
if they start these projects and they start doing this in January, they're going to be another 6 weeks out. And I'm really pleased about that. Another trend that I've seen is, I would say that maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago, the market was very much like this.
Yes.
And we'd go in to have a great September, October, November, then December would be like high again. However, I kind of feel that even though the market maybe isn't as positive as it once was, it's fairly level, and everyone has just been consistent across the year, which is really interesting to see. And I hope that will continue into next year as well, which will be interesting. So
100%.
Yeah.
I think I talked to a couple companies who said flat's the new up, Jack. And if you can keep it, I think with the market turbulence for 2025, if you're a firm that can keep performance consistent, you're already in front of most. So yeah, excited to jump in.
There we go. Flat is the new up. You heard it here first. So we're going to have a few conversations over the next few minutes about sort of getting ready for a 2026 launch plan. So we're going to kind of, what we want to think about and what we want to inspire you guys to think about is like planning for your growth, how you can create really good actions, e.g. booking more face-to-face meetings, which so many people are asking for, and kind of analyzing your data and just kind of what steps you need to take now to finish the year on a high, so you can come in January and really hit the ground running. So Jack, like, over to you. Like, what are your customers saying? What are you guys seeing? What are you advising your customers to do kind of coming into this transition from 25 to 26?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that there's really two ways to approach this, and a couple of questions to ask yourself before you jump in is, it's really as simple as, number one, do we need to tear down and rebuild the entire process? Are we in a point where we don't understand a couple of different things that I'll jump into in a little bit? Or number two, are we just about there and we need to focus on fine tuning? There's a great book, Atomic Habits, that applies to most of all life, but you can apply it to your sales process as well, right? Like, if you feel like you're just about there, maybe there are just a couple little things that you can fine tune to really sharpen your 2026 strategy. But I think if you're tearing it down, you really have to start with identifying your ideal customer profile. So what we tell our customers is to look at your highest performing clients over the past 2 years and reverse engineer the relationship. who are the personas that respond best to your motion? What are the pain points you solve most effectively? What are the environments where your value actually accelerates results? And what are the engagements that produce profitable long-term relationships? I think like before anything gets said, you got to define this, right? Like you got to know who you're going after. And a lot of firms I talk to, they think that bigger and better outreach comes from being wider and wider, when it's really the complete opposite. As I'm sure you guys are coming off your best month too. And I'm sure, where a lot of that success came from is getting more and more finite, more and more microscopic on, where are the engagements that really accelerate our business, and how can we, continue to bring this in 2026?
I think what's really interesting is like having that ICP, like it does work. It really does. Like even if you don't have the exact persona, just understanding who these people are, what's worked in the past, that's really 100%. Key. Like the day that I made a decision in the business to niche down and just work with Bullhorn customers, and even now, we don't really do stuff on Bullhorn for Salesforce. We're very much just the native Bullhorn CRM. Like we have a really, really small group of people, but we know who they are. We know where they are. We know where they hang out. We know what communication to send to them. And we also know who they are. And that has changed. Like that changed everything in our business literally 100%. Overnight when we did that. And I think what's really important, and what I really liked what you said, is that you need to look at your existing customers and what's worked. Yeah. Like it would be really easy to go, right, we're going to start targeting these group of people because we know that these group are going to be really, it's going to be a profitable market in the next 12 months. Great. But we need to understand, we need to establish what has worked for you in the past. How have you won your biggest accounts recently, and what do you need to do more? And like understanding kind of what you've done with these people is brilliant. And what I absolutely love is once you've done that, it's so easy to share case studies and testimonials 100%. With them to help your sales process, because you've worked with the exact same version of them, just in very different formats. So
100%. Totally agree. And I think that's, when the other half of the circle comes up, right? Like talking about your unique value proposition, right? Like that's when we want to connect, here are the strengths that our business delivers repeatedly and predictably. Here are the challenges, that we solve better than the alternatives. And I cannot recommend enough for 2026. Building out case studies, building out metrics, building out testimonials that validate your impact. Because at the end of the day, it's all about booking meetings, and that's what we talk about over here at SourceWhale. But to continue and to win the relationship over your competition, buyers right now, they need resources to make a decision. They need something that's going to validate their movement. And so like, if there's one thing we come off this call with, it's, hey, like, let's put some effort, it might be a marketing team. It might just be you, go have a conversation with your 2 best performing clients and ask them, why they went with you, what makes your service different. And those are things that you can leverage in your sales process for the next, 18 months.
Yeah, and like that's what we do with our clients. Like we know a client isn't going to write a 2-page PDF about how great we are. As much as I would love it, they are very busy people. So the way that we work it is we identify which case studies we need. We write 90% of it. We ask the client for a testimonial, like for a quote. Sometimes we even write that as well. We then get them, we send it over to them. Then we make a couple of changes off the back of it. They're happy. We share it. Done. So we've got what we need out of it. The client's really happy. And then actually I took it a step further and I said to the client, look, would you be okay if you gave us a LinkedIn testimonial on our profiles? And he was like, absolutely, Holly. However, he said, I need to be seen as a thought leader in our industry and recruitment. Are you okay if you give us one back? And I was like, absolutely, I'll give you one back. So the client got a testimonial out of it. I got a testimonial out of it. And now we've got some more good content that we can share. So 100%, I think really, so like identifying your ICP and based upon like who you want to target, as well as the historic information, and really like what is your unique value proposition in that market is going to be a fantastic way. So then when you are generating content and sending stuff out to them, you know who it's going to, and hopefully you're going to send a message that really, really lands with them, which is what we want, right?
Right. 100%. And I think like, when we talk about messaging, I think that that's, for me at SourceWhale, that's 95% of my conversations, right? Is looking at, how can we make our messaging as optimized as possible? For me, I don't think that you can make messaging as optimized as possible if you don't know your ICP to the T and you don't know your unique value prop to the T. Those are two things that are so important when crafting messaging and, crafting talk tracks. So like, that's really, I think like the pre-work. But then like jumping into messaging, I'm not sure how many people on LinkedIn saw my Interstellar parody on LinkedIn last week.
No, fill us in.
Oh, no, you didn't see it? It was for this. Oh, geez.
Oh, well, fill me in.
I was on the outside looking in at, some of the messaging mistakes and, how those can really kind of translate and carry over to 2026. But I think just like on my own experience, like a couple of years ago, I had probably no idea how to write emails. I was still in sales, but, I would send emails to prospects that looked like a research paper, and my results would show that, and there are plenty of people out there who think because of a similar experience that like email is not a viable channel. I think that's like something that, we hear a lot of, just like, I haven't succeeded via email, therefore it makes email not a viable channel. And that's just like, that's wrong at the end of the day, right? Like emails, text messages, LinkedIn messages, all I call them over here are vehicles of visibility, right? Like you're just looking for a way to create awareness, So that's when that ICP and UVP become particularly important. Hey, we work with companies exactly like you. Yeah. Here's a common challenge that they go through. Your persona uses blank to solve this problem. So, like that's really what I think of as well as just like in messaging. Obviously you want to be spread out across multiple channels, but like really dive in and look at it. I'm curious, like with you guys, like the last month you said you had your best month. Like how do you guys approach, like email and messaging for business development? Chris Little, shout out Chris Little.
So we do, I'll be honest, we do a couple of things. So we actually we use SourceWhale for some messaging and campaigns on LinkedIn. Now I was thinking about the messaging. Now one of the best campaigns I did was a couple of years ago, and I just talking and saying what we do, and in the middle of it I dropped a image, like a meme that I'd made, and it was a dog and pulling a funny face or something, and the caption was, when you've got a great CRM but your recruiters are still using spreadsheets. I know it was really simple, but and like I knew my target market would kind of find that funny, and it worked, and we got a few messages off the back of it, like people were just like, brilliant, like lol, like love that, Holly. And however, what's really interesting is those messages got remembered. Because about 6 weeks ago, I was talking at the Rec Expo in Birmingham. And at the end of the talk, someone came up to me and they said, Holly, I love your content. Your messages that you send kind of always crack me up about kind of get recruiters not using the system properly. That person now has become a customer of ours.
Yep.
Very, very quickly. So we kind of have got campaigns like that we do on like LinkedIn messaging, like very simple stuff. We also have several email campaigns. So we do. So again, last 2 weeks ago, I spoke at a Bullhorn event. And we very luckily got the email list, and I've emailed them all. However, I've not sold anything in that email. I've given away 2 free resources, and I've given them a recap of what I spoke about. So I said, hope you enjoyed the talk. Just to recap, here it is. By the way, I'm going to make this into a webinar in the new year. Stand by. And I mentioned in my talk this tracker. There you go. Now, not surprisingly, that's had a really high click rate through to the tracker, and we can then see who's downloaded it, etc. And all we've done is given them value. And we know that very, very, very specific element is so niche. We know that it's going to add value to it. And also, like we're not bombarding them. Now, what I will say is what I now need to do is identify everybody who's opened that campaign and clicked through it. We either then add them into a follow-up campaign, or we get Chris Little, who is our head of sales, to pick up the phone and give them a call, which is fantastic as well. So there's numerous options, but for me, the best thing that I've ever done since starting the business is just give away as much valuable content as well. Like
100%.
This webinar, for example, we don't even ask people we don't collect their details. We're just doing it on LinkedIn. We're doing it on YouTube. We're giving away free value. And you could even just share content like that and say, look, we're doing events, come along and join. There's so much value there that we can share. And you've just got to kind of have the time and energy to find topics to do this, get marketing or you to do it, and then move it along and drive it forward.
No, 100%. I think like it's such a, I think it connects to ultimately like the testimonials, the case studies, but like the idea of giving to get, right? Like almost like I got, you almost want to think about it as like, hey, like I might build a campaign that solely just gives. Like I don't even have an ask, right? I'm just sharing like, here are strategies. Fortunately, I work for a company that, compiles. We do a lot of webinars. We put together a lot of case studies. We have a lot of metrics. So it's like, how can I almost like share with you, and build like a trust, right? Like, how can I share with you that like, I do have these conversations every day, but with no clear ask. And, like, I think you make a great point. Like those things like often play out like pretty great because people like, especially in the recruitment industry, they're hunting for the call to action. They're always like, oh, like, are you just asking me to get on a meeting? But it's like, no, I'm actually just, I'm trying to share with you like some points of commonality. Like, here's what we typically hear. And I think we see that a lot, right, in building out the messaging. I also think in those give campaigns, you made an excellent call out to a parallel of SourceWhale's functionality, but in SourceWhale, you can use your dashboard to identify like who's opening and clicking and engaging on your email. We call it like our live feed and our hot list. And in these giving campaigns where you're just providing resources, it's so imperative to be able to have an understanding and have transparency into like who's engaging with my content, who's clicking on my links, who opened an email that was sent over 30 days ago. That's my favorite one, because that one you just give them a call and right away they're like, oh, I was just looking at your email, right? But like using things like that. So like, if we think about like the whole strategy of messaging, right? Like it's ICP, it's UVP, but then it's just like, it's running messaging that you can get a little kooky with, right? Like you drop a meme in there, like you see what plays out with this persona. And then you can use a tool like SourceWhale to, to see like, hey, are they putting down what I'm putting forth? And if they are, call them.
And I think that's what's really, really important. And one of the things that like I sometimes wish people would do more of, and for those of you who know me will go, I talk about this all the time, is just generally seeing and using the data to see what's worked. Like do not send out a meme to some very, very senior CEOs and send out 1,000 of them if you don't think it's going to work. What you need to do is go through the process. You need to try it, test it, and then tweak it. As you do with anything. If your open rates aren't good, tweak it. Or if your call to action isn't good enough, tweak it. If you're not getting any results from that campaign, don't give up. Don't just put another 500-600 people on there. You need to really think about, why is it now? I can get a third party up, speak to your customer success team, speak to your recruiters, sort of go look at it with a pair of fresh eyes and really understand it, so you can tweak what you're doing, so that when you're then coming into January, like kind of what works, what doesn't work, and you then don't have to spend the first sort of 6 weeks of 2026 mapping out, changing campaigns, writing campaigns. What I would 100%. Also say is, if you have any existing candidates like going, please make sure that you check anything that check and change it for 2025 to 2026. So if you've got a campaign that's going out saying, can't wait, are you interested in growing your team in 2025? Like, we need to stop sending that now. Now need to change that to 2026. Again, if you have salary surveys, salary guides going out,
100%.
2025 needs to finish, you need to talk about 2026 for like literally from today. So that's another action point. Go in and start making those changes so you can look forward to what is going to happen in January.
I agree. definitely change those, because every time I get a 2025 prospecting email, I'm like, the year's already done here, guys. But no, I totally agree. I also think, like, if you're watching this and you're a medium business, like, and you're a leadership and you run a team of recruiters or a team of reps, what we're seeing, like, and what we're having a lot of conversations with, is like leadership's like actually going out and creating these campaigns, right? Like they're creating these campaigns and they're saving them essentially as playbooks. SourceWhale has, like, all these campaigns, but like you save them as playbooks, and you can run some tests towards the end of 2025, or you can just rip it in 2026. But like, give your team a starting point, right? Where you're like, when you hit 2026, you hit the ground running. Like, by all means, I think why this webinar is so powerful right now is, like, you should do these things right now for 2026. You should look at your ICP. You should prove that out. You should look at your UVP and prove that out, so that when you get to 2026, you've got campaigns, you've got playbooks ready to go. And then, like, what we're talking about with, like, analyzing and looking at engagement and opens and clicks, those are things that you can continuously do in 2026 and constantly, get it better. Change your outreach. Omni-channel, by the way, still the wave. Pick up the phone, go on LinkedIn, go on email, send text messages. No successful outreach motion is uni-channel, one channel.
Yeah, I agree with you entirely. And I must probably sit in, over the course of a month, maybe like 3 to 5 different recruitment agencies every month that I'm just kind of actively sitting in their offices with, if not more. And I'm genuinely not just saying this. The top performing agencies are on the phone all the time. That's it. No matter the market, the sector, the experience of those recruiters, they are picking up the phone. And I'm not saying they're sitting there doing 100 cold calls a day.
Yeah.
They are calling the right people at the right time with the right message. They know who to call. They've got a process. They've got a system. They've got the data. They can move that forward and make it happen. And
100%.
It creates such a sales buzz. Like, I genuinely, in the last 2 months, I've been into recruitment businesses and we are all sitting there in silence. And I'm thinking, what on earth are you doing? Like, and I'm saying, I say to the sales leaders, like, what's going on here? Like, why is no one on the phone? And they're like, yeah, well, we do quite a lot of stuff on email. I'm like, yeah, that's fantastic. I'm thrilled for you. LinkedIn and email is brilliant, but we really do need to be getting them on the phone as well. And I think
100%.
If potentially if you're a senior leader looking on this call now, then you may well need to look at kind of some of the KPIs that you've got in place for next year to make sure they align. So, like, as we've said, face-to-face meetings, successful campaigns, open rates, like, if you've then the success of these campaigns as well, I think are really crucial things to measure. So that all will then basically impact the quality of the CVs that go out the door, the meetings,
100%.
the BD calls,
the revenue,
yeah,
billings, etc. I also think if there's one thing, if I had a cardboard sign and I was standing here protesting, stop mass blasting, stop.
Yeah.
I think, you alluded to it prior, but like, don't put 600 people into a list and run a super blanket outreach that's just like, hey, can we help in 2026? Like, news, that might have been fine and dandy during the COVID period. Right now, you need to differentiate yourselves, especially in your sales process. So, like, pick up the phone, do channels. SourceWhale makes it super easy. But, just like put yourself out there and like get into the position for those face-to-face meetings. Cause I think, that's a big differentiator.
I'm gonna go and create another meme and send it out this afternoon. I've decided. So I'm gonna go and get some inspiration. I'll let you know how I get on. Okay. Look, there's lots to do. It's going to be a busy few weeks getting ready for the new year. And I've got no doubt that people who are watching have got loads of questions. If you have any questions for Jack, all right, please do reach out to you. Jack, if people want to know more about you and get in contact with you or hear more about what you guys are doing at SourceWhale, what is the best way for them to reach out to you?
Yeah. The best way to reach out to me is shoot me an email, jack.barnes@sourcewhale.com. If you want to cold call me, do that too.
Yes.
I'm not going to get my mobile out, but you could find it.
Love
But
that.
yeah, if you want to chat, I mean, even if you're, I feel like a lot of the times, I'll have someone talk to me who's like, oh, I'm not a decision maker necessarily, but like, I'd love to see what SourceWhale looks like. Sick, dude. Come on over, watch a demo. Definitely keen to have conversations with, people all over the industry. And we talk a lot about outreach strategy at SourceWhale, but we're also doing some other really cool things and automating a lot of the admin that kind of breaks down productivity at the desk level. So shoot me an email, jack.barnes@sourcewhale.com. Shoot me a LinkedIn message, add me on LinkedIn. I'm regularly dropping some pretty kooky content over there. But yeah, this was a blast. I'm kind of ready to run through a wall right now,
I know, I'm going to go and climb that mountain there, I think. No, it was. But hang on, I'm not going to climb the mountain because what I wrote down was flat is the new up. There we go.
Flat is the new up. But in 2026, up is up.
Is the new
still.
up. Okay.
Up is the new up.
For the rest of 2025, flat is the new up. And
flat is the new up.
Everyone's going to get their stuff together, and up is the new up. We've got this.
Oh, yeah. Over here, we call it rocket shipping. Just hook yourself to a rocket and we're going up. So
I am here for that.
Yeah. Rocket shipping. Next stop, the moon. No, 100%. I appreciate the time, Holly, today. And hit me up, people. And Holly, enjoy your trip stateside.
I will. Thank you very much. Thank you all for watching, everybody. And we will see you again very soon. Bye.
Bye.